Okay, today we're going to demonstrate a 7th grade geometry lesson that focuses on figuring out what plane shapes can be found in a three-dimensional shape when you cut it parallel and perpendicular to the base, as well as at an angle that's not quite parallel to the base. So in your lesson, you'd actually start with the square and model it for your students. And you can use a knife. It's recommended you use a plastic knife in your classroom or use dental floss. So I'll demonstrate both. So if you take your square, you might have your students predict what they think the shape will be that comes out of, that will be on the cross section. So looking at this, you might predict it would be a square as you cut it. So as you cut the shape, you pull it apart, and as you see, our plane shape of a cube going perpendicular to the base is a square. Students would then draw a picture of what the shape was that they found. Then you can take another square or cube, which I've prepared mine, it takes a little bit of time. And you can cut parallel to the base. It's a little smushed, but you can see that if it's parallel to the base, it's going to be the same shape as the base. So the cube has a square base, therefore it will have a square plane figure when you cut it parallel to the base. And then the last one, you'll cut it at a non-parallel angle to the base to see what shape may come out. Won't come out quite as well. But the shape you'll see is a rectangle because it's a little bit longer on two sides than the other two. And you may be able to, if your students predict that it might be a square, then you can explain what's going on. But the length is a little bit longer along that side. Alright, so your students will actually make a rectangular square pyramid, a rectangular prism, square prism, and a rectangular square pyramid as well, and that way they'll explore those shapes and make the cuts. So you can make your perpendicular to the base cut, and if you cut it this direction, the long ways, you will see that you have a rectangle shape. But if students explore it a different way and cut it the other way, depending on what the shape their base is, it may become a square or a rectangle, and in this case it's a rectangle. You'll take the other one and you can cut it parallel to the base. So depending on what your base is, it will either be a square or rectangle, and in this case, because mine is shaped like a rectangle on the base, the cross section is also a rectangle. And then as you cut at a non-parallel angle, the knife sticks a little bit, it is a rectangle because of the shape of the lateral sides being rectangles as well. Alright, and then we come to our pyramid. And your students may be able to make predictions as to what the shape might be based on what they've explored from the other two. So if we cut a cross section of this perpendicular to the base, because the lateral faces are triangles, we will get a triangle out of that. And then, because the base is either a square or rectangle, depending on how it was built, if students cut parallel to that base, they will get a square or a rectangular cross section. And then at an angle, when the students cut it, they will get a trapezoid because the top is a little smaller than the bottom, and then the two sides are not parallel lines. So students will see that a trapezoid can be found also in a cross section of a rectangular pyramid. So you can use Play-Doh, clay, plastic knives, and dental floss, whatever materials you have, to explore what plane figures can be found in three-dimensional shapes.